Hey, we're on our way to purchase some meat and beans and cabbage and all kinds of stuff for a catering event we got coming up. Hey everybody, Marc Benton from Lone Bull BBQ here, and today we're going to talk about the catering event I did a couple weeks ago for the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network fundraiser called Cruisin for a Cure. It's put on here locally in Anderson, Texas. It was a car show, raised a lot of money, and I had a good time. It was a successful event. We started planning way in advance, so I'm a spreadsheet guy, I'm a tech guy by nature. I put together spreadsheets of basic budget, which of course I shot right through. A menu list, so basically all the different dishes I wanted to make and the ingredients for each, just to make sure that we had them on hand in the proper amounts. And then a shopping list from that. So we went to 3 different stores, went to Sam's, went to HEB, and went to Academy. So Academy is where I got some of the barbecue supplies and some other supplies that I needed for the event, non-food supply type things. I got the extra table that I needed. At Sam's, that's where I got the majority of the protein. So I picked up 6 8.5 to 9-ish pounds pork butts. It was about 55 pounds of pork in total. Sam's also sells these 24 packs of slider buns. They're brioche buns. They're great for events like this. I didn't want to do full-size sandwiches. We did about 3.5 to 4 ounces of pork on each sandwich, on each slider. Those little buns were perfect for this. And then after that, went to HEB and got most of the veggies, everything we needed for like the baked beans and the onions and things like that. So Thursday night before the event was Sunday. Thursday night was all shopping. Friday was, I took the day off from work and cleaned tables, cleaned the grills, cleaned the smoker, got everything ready for Saturday, which was cook day. Sherry made 300 ounces of coleslaw. I bought her 6 heads of cabbage, and she sat in the kitchen and chopped all that up along with I don't know how many carrots and mixed up her yummy coleslaw, and thank goodness for her. I cooked the pork butts, started the fire at about 6 a.m., put them on at 7. A couple hours into it, you can see the colors looking great. Later in the day when they got to be about 170, and the good thing about getting them all about the same size, and I did rotate them I'd say maybe every 3 to 4 hours. I bring the ones to the back to the front, change the sides so that each one wasn't up against like the back wall on the same side throughout, and turned them. So I went through a lot of rotations on that just to make sure even cook, and they all pretty much stayed consistent temperature across all 6 of them. But when they got to be about 170-ish, I took them out, put them in each into their own little quarter hotel pan, added butter, brown sugar, a little can, I think a little 6-ounce can of pineapple juice, and then covered them up with foil, put them back in there to finish them off, which took, 2 to 3 hours. But by 8 o'clock, they were ready. They were all reached anywhere from 203 to 208 in temperature, very tender. So we pulled them out, put them in a warmer, kept them overnight. So Sunday morning, the day of the event, I had that mapped out to the minute. Got up at 4 a.m., turned the Traeger on, came in, finished mixing the beans. I put all the meat Sunday morning into it. I didn't do it the night before. I kept the meat out. But mixed those in, put the beans on the Traeger, 2 big, large hotel pans of beans, and then they stayed on the Traeger for about 3 hours. I made a first trip over to the event space. It's about a half mile from me, so I went over and dropped off the coolers and the tables and most of the non-food items so that I had room in the truck for the Cambro and other items. There wasn't enough room in my truck to carry everything at once. Came back, was ahead of schedule. I even snuck in a 30-minute nap around 7 a.m. Pulled the beans, and while the beans were cooking, I was pulling the pork. So we pulled the pork butts out of the warmer. I pulled the meat, and then we ended up with 3 of those quarter pans full of pulled pork. Each one held 2 pork butts. So I wrapped those up in foil, put them into the Cambro. Neat little trick with the Cambro is take a towel, put it in the bottom, and then pour a pot of boiling water on top of it. That's a pretty good warmer. It keeps it warm. I didn't have an issue. I tipped throughout the day, and that pork never got close to 140, so that was good. Once we got to the event, got everything set up pretty quickly. Some people helped us put the tent up. I had done an event like this once before without planning. The Navy teaches you the 5 Ps, sometimes called the 6 Ps. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So all that planning we did up front really helped. I mean, I had a layout of where I wanted the tables, where everything, all the stations were going to be, where everything was going to be laid out and located. So when we got there, we set up according to plan. The table in the back was mine. I had the truck with the tailgate behind me, with the 2 Cambros sitting there. I had the extra bread in the back seat, and that was the sandwich putting together location. This is where I wrapped, put the meat on the sandwich, and then wrapped them. I would fill up a small container, hand it to my wife, and she was at the next table putting the plates together. She would put a slider, a little container of beans, container of coleslaw, some utensils, and then there was another lady helping us, a great friend of ours here in Anderson that ended up being a great ambassador for us. She handed out the plates to everybody. So it was a really quick, I would make up 10 or 15 sandwiches at a time and then just kind of take a break. And then when more people were coming, more sandwiches were needed, just wrap up some more. It was a pretty good assembly line. It didn't take long at all. And I didn't want to wrap all the sandwiches at once because the bread would have gotten way too soggy. So making them almost on a on-demand basis was definitely much better. There was a 4th table that people could go over and pick out a bag of chips. We had Lay's regular chips and Lay's barbecue, and then also a couple of different sauces with, the squeeze top. So if they did want sauce on their pulled pork, I don't know why in the world they'd want sauce on my pulled pork, but some people did. But we offered that as well. And it was so smooth in operation. It was great. We started serving maybe around 11 o'clock, and then we ended at 1:30, and I would say we served almost 150 plates. Some of the lessons learned from this is I scoop. This is great for serving and portioning out what you want. So not only did we use this to make the individual servings of the coleslaw and the beans, but also used it for the pulled pork. I would fill it up and then basically pull it out, ball it up, and put the meat on the bun. This is a great time saver, and it makes sure that you're consistent. Now, this was a catering event. I wasn't getting paid. It was all for charity, and I probably spent a little more than I should, but it was well worth it. These little individual container cups were outstanding. We had one for coleslaw. That's kind of old, so it's a little brown now. And then one for the baked beans as well. So what this allowed us to do was we could pre-package these at home, and then I had a Cambro full of the beans and a cooler full of the coleslaw. So when we put the plates together, you didn't have to dish everything out. You just grab a little cup, put it on the plate, and off it went. It was cleaner, and the biggest advantage was when you look at the videos, you don't see any flies. There weren't any spills. We just saw very few flies at all. I had my little spinner back there near the meat, but that was it. We, at the end of the show, or throughout the show, we had, I was very honored, a number of people came up and said, best pork butt pulled pork sandwich they'd ever had. The first gentleman that said that looked to be like 20 years old, and I'm like thinking, well, son, you haven't lived very long. But about an hour later, a lady came up that was of age. She wasn't old, but she was, I want to be politically correct. She told me the same thing, and I was very happy to hear that from her. The beans were a hit. We had numerous people come up and tell us how good those beans were. The same recipe I used in the Gridley's video I did. Made a few little changes to it, added some red bell pepper to it as well. But yeah, go back and take a look at that video, look at that recipe. You got to try those beans. They're extremely good. This was, as I mentioned, charity. We gave away these plates of food for free. You got a full plate of food, you got a drink, either water or Coke or whatever. You could come back for seconds. We had a few people do that. So we didn't charge for anything. But we did have a donation box out there, and it was amazing how many people donated, put money in there. I mean, they were taking 20s out of their wallet and shoving in there. At the end of the day, I talked to Dodie and asked her how well the show did, how much did they raise total, and it was just under $3,000. It was about just under $2,900 that total that they raised. I got it delivered for you. We'll take that. Thank you, everyone. It was an honor to be here to be able to serve you guys. But $619 here. That's from them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Get out of here now.
Thank you.
Hey, they had 69 cars, which is a record, along with the amount that they raised. Now, that little box that we had on our table, it was $619 of that $2,900. So that was an extra $600 that American Cancer Society wouldn't have seen if we hadn't put that box out there. So we're very honored that people thought enough to donate, and that we were able to provide that to Dodie and the Cancer Society. So all in all, I would say it was a success. I want to thank Omar Overfire, his YouTube channel. He donated one of the sauces for us. I put out an Amazon list of things that I needed, and he immediately got on there and picked the most expensive thing on the list, which happened to be that sauce. And John Henry Food Products, I went to see them a couple weeks ago and told them what I was doing, and they helped me out with the rubs and the injection. So I want to thank them too. I put up signs with little QR codes to Omar's channel and my channel, and then to the food store for John Henry. I could have done this by myself. I know I couldn't have, not the whole thing, but I'm talking about like the actual execution. Putting the sandwiches together, handing everything out. It would have been much stressful if I was there by myself. So I want to thank my wife for indulging me and coming out. I think she had fun. We got to meet a bunch of new people. And Ms. Freeman, thank you very much for coming and helping us as well, handing things out. But overall, I think it was a good success. We had fun. I think the people that came around had fun. Everybody got to eat some good food. Hopefully nobody had a bad experience that I know of. And then the car show was great. So if you're thinking about doing something like this, somebody asks you to cater a party, any type of event, don't be afraid of it. Just do a little proper planning up front, and you'll do just fine. And if you need any tips, give me a holler. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to leave you with a few minutes of pictures of the various entries of the cars and trucks that were there. Some of them are really pretty cool. And with that, I will say good evening, and until I see you again, keep peppering up that backyard. Cheers.